Just Big Enough by Marcia Meyer. Every morning on my way to school, I sit in the same seat on the school bus. I like my seat because it is between two of my friends. We talk and laugh all the way to school. It's the best. But one morning, a big kid took my seat. I knew it was just a mistake. "Excuse me," I said. "You're sitting in my seat." The big kid didn't move. He didn't even look at me. I guess he didn't hear me. I sat in another seat instead. At recess, I saw the big kids playing football. I wanted to play football too. But when I asked, they said I couldn't play because I was too small. That made me feel bad. At lunch, the big kids got in line first and took all the cupcakes. I told them that they had to share, but they only laughed at me. They told me the cupcakes were just for them. That didn't sound right to me. I was mad. "I wish I was bigger," I said to my friends. "Then I know I could sit in my seat on the bus or say I can't play football or take all the cupcakes." My friends agreed. They didn't get any cupcakes either, and I knew they're good at football too, because we play in the park together after school. That night, I couldn't sleep, so I read a comic book in bed. The story is about a super smart hero who built lots of inventions to stop bad guys, and that's when I got a great idea. The next morning, I asked Mom and Dad for some supplies. I needed wood, glue, and tinfoil. Little sister let me use some of her art supplies too. "What are you making?" asked little sister. "A growing machine," I said. Just like the hero in my comic book, I carried everything out to the backyard. That would be my secret lab. I worked on the growing machine all morning. When it was finished, I sprinkled glitter on it so it sparkled like the one in the comic book I had read. I made a helmet and vest out of tinfoil. Then I put on my tinfoil suit and climbed into the growing machine. It was time to try my invention. I sat in the growing machine all afternoon. I read my comic books and I took a nap. I even ate my lunch there. When it became dark, Dad came out to my secret lab. "It's time to come inside," he said. "Did I grow?" I asked. I sat up straight and puffed out my chest, trying to look as big as possible. Dad looked very, very closely. He shook his head and smiled. "You look like the same little critter to me," he said. "Maybe I should sleep in the growing machine," I said. Dad didn't think that was a good idea. The next day, I went to Grandma and Grandpa's farm. "What's the matter, little critter?" asked Grandpa. I told Grandpa all about the big kids at school and how I wanted to be big too, so that I could do all the things that the big kids did. "I know just how you feel," said Grandpa. "You do?" I asked. Grandpa was one of the biggest critters I knew. How could he know what it was like to be little? "Let me show you something," Grandpa said. Grandpa took me out to the meadow. "Look at those two horses. Which one do you think is the fastest?" "The big one," I said. That question was easy. "Am I right?" I asked. "Let's see," he said. Grandpa let the big horse and the little horse loose. They started to run across the field. At first, they were neck and neck. Then one pulled ahead. Do you know which one was the fastest? The little one. I don't know how, but Grandpa knew just what to do to make me feel better. The next day at school, I asked the big kids again if I could play football. When they said I was too small, I started to get mad. "I challenge you to a relay race," I said. The big kids against the little kids. The big kids laughed at first. Then they saw that I was serious, and they said, "Okay." The whole school came out to watch the race. We lined up in the schoolyard, 3 little kids and 3 big kids. I was nervous, but I ran as fast as I could. So did my friends. And you know what? The little kids won. We did something better than the big kids. And that felt great. I didn't feel so small anymore. So I guess sometimes being small is just big enough.